But how will all of these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in with how the trade setup looks like and the stocks that are likely to be in the news. First up, Sudarshan joins in to get all the market cues that you need to watch out for today. Sudarshan, good morning. A record rally yesterday, but what's the setup looking like today?
Morning, Harma. So, we'll have to see if we manage to or build on to yesterday's gains or take a pause considering a muted handover from global market. But first, talking about yesterday's session, as you mentioned in your trade setup, we were so near yet so far from this psychological level of 23,000. Nevertheless, it was a record day of trade with 3 or 4 frontline indices hitting record highs. And if RBI dividend was not enough, FIs came in to buy into Indian market. Yesterday's buy figure of more than rupees 4,600 crore by FIs was highest in almost 3 months, and it's the only second time this month that FIs have bought into cash market in the Indian market. And so where exactly FIs have done buying? It was a broad-based buying with all the major names from Adanis to autos to ITs have gains almost somewhere in the range of 3 to 8%. But the biggest contribution came from financial heavyweights like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank. But despite the record day, market breadth was in favor of declines, and the reason was relative underperformance by mid-caps. Mid-cap index had closed with a gain of 0.5% against 2% each by other indices like Nifty and Nifty Bank. So what is next? Will we manage to extend the rally? It looks unlikely, at least for today. Yesterday, we were expecting a strong move in US market after strong earnings and healthy outlook by Nvidia, but it was offset by rise in yields. US 10-year yield is now back near to 4.5%, and rate-sensitive yield, that is 2-year yield, has risen 6 basis points to almost 5%. Even initial jobless claims have fallen less than expected, which indicates that US economy remains on a strong footing and hope of rate cuts might only get postponed. And with this, GIFT Nifty is indicating a start in the red. And lastly, in the results today from Nifty, we have NTPC and Hindalco, and other major earnings are Ashok Leyland, Torrent Pharma and United Spirits.
So close yet so far, very pertinently put there by Sudarshan. Thanks a lot for that. Now over to Vamakshi, who would list out the stocks to watch out for in today's session. Vamakshi, good morning.
Well, good morning, Hormaz. Let me first start off with the earnings then. A good set of numbers came in from Indigo. Capacity as well as passengers saw an uptick of almost 14%, which in turn drove a nearly 26% rise in the revenues. The EBITDA margin has also risen to 24.8%, and resultantly, the net profit has almost doubled to 1,894 odd crores. JK Lakshmi Cement also reported good set. Revenue was down by 4.5% nearly, but the margins have improved substantially to 18.9%. The net profit has come in nearly 41% higher. Fortis Healthcare revenue saw an uptick of 8.7%, margins have expanded to 21.3%, and net profit has come in nearly 35% higher. Shilpa Medicare also good set coming in from this counter, revenue seeing an uptick of almost 5.1%. The margins have improved substantially to 58.1%, and the net profit is of nearly 25 crores versus a loss of almost 8 crores is what the company has reported this time around. But on the other hand, we have a weak set of numbers coming in from Schneider. Revenue was up for 15%. The EBITDA also was up nearly 20%. Margins have improved, but the net profit, that is seeing a very sharp downtick of almost 93%, and that is mainly on account of provisions being made for ongoing income tax matters. Orchid Pharma is the next counter we will be focusing on. Revenue seeing an uptick of almost 3.5%. The margins have declined substantially to 13.3%, and the net profit is nearly 49% lower. Sun Pharma, lastly, let's also focus on this stock because the merger agreement between Taro and Sun Pharma has been approved by the shareholders, and the EGM was held on May 22nd.
Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that. Now over to Nigel, who would list out the FNO cues for the morning. Nigel, we almost made it to 23,000 yesterday, but fell short, as has always been the case. What's the FNO cue looking like this morning?
Well, Hormuz, it's ironic, right? We're talking about such a big rally that we saw yesterday. And if you asked most investors, they'll say, my portfolio didn't look so good because it was a large cap driven day yesterday. The Nifty and the Nifty Bank did very, very well. But the mid caps and small caps, they didn't really participate after the kind of rally that we've seen. What took place? On the Nifty, there was some long addition that was seen. But on the Nifty Bank, there were signs with the way it burst away, that there were signs of short covering, and that's precisely what's happened. And that, in fact, perfectly tallies with what the FIs did. They covered close to 30,000 short contracts, and they added close to 86,000 long contracts. So the swing factor in a matter of day is more than 1 lakh contracts. And the short positions that were at around 72% just a few sessions ago, that's come down to around 58%. But that's the bar that's telling you the picture. The short positions, net short positions, halve in a single trading session. So, on a like-to-like basis, if you're comparing it with the previous contract, then it's at around a net short of around 50,000 contracts. As of the current lot size, it's at around 1 lakh contracts. So, they're still net short, but a big part of that short covering did take place in yesterday's trading session. Now, two strikes I'm looking at. There was put writing that we saw in yesterday's trading session. 28,000, 22,800 put, 22,700 put. Well, both of them fair bit of open interest build up. Close to around 65 lakh shares getting added out there. The premium between 70 to around 90 rupees approximately. And because we saw put writing, the PCR is moving up now. Remember, a few sessions ago, it was at around 1.1. It's moved to around 1.37, but it normally peaks out at around 1.6. So just keep that in mind. Levels to track, going by the options data, 22,700, 22,750, because the previous resistance zone was this. Now that becomes a bit of a support zone. And the Nifty bank levels as well come up for you on the screen. 20 DMA on the downside, fresh all-time highs on the upside. Two stocks came out of the FNO band, so I'll keep an eye out on that. Biocon as well as Idea. Some action on those could be warranted. Back to you.
Vodafone Idea will definitely be in focus for multiple triggers today. Thanks a lot, Nigel, for that.